There were many weird situations that Cooler had gotten himself into ever since he first crossed paths with Son Goku, but this was on a whole other level. He was being eaten by a primordial evil being known as Majin Buu, the Emperor of the universe, being transformed into a snack for some bubblegum creature. He stopped to laugh at his own fate. Although there was hope that freeing himself could have done something to this monster, after all was said and done, he hadn't gone down without a little bit of a heartburn along the way. It was ridiculous, but in a very morbidly amusing way. Cooler did not know why his mood was like this. He wasn't furious. No perfectly developed plan or cold logic could prepare him for this level of absurdity. Was this despair? His mind slipping away, about to break? Or maybe something else was at stake? Buu's organism didn't try to stop him and felt all the shaking and contorting. It seems that something could have been happening on the outside. Had he weakened the monster by allowing himself to be consumed, tearing himself up from within? Well, one thing was for sure, there had to be a way out. It was almost like he was submerged in some sort of pocket dimension, not too dissimilar to the hyperbolic time chamber. But it was hard to expect anything from a being made out of pure chaos. Very quickly, he started to realize that he was being followed. In this place, there were people living inside of Buu? Indeed, there was something there after all. It seemed that this blasted thing had some sort of worm inside of it. He was curious what a planet-busting death ball would do to them, not giving second chances to these creatures, as he blew an incredibly substantial hole in the structure of that weird inside Buu dimension. Now this attracted the attention of the host himself. No longer did Cooler have the upper hand, as he manifested a version of himself on the inside. And he looked panicked.
You there! Stop that!
Cooler could not unsee the panic in the voice. There was something bad happening on the outside. He grinned under the face mask that now covered his face.
You want me to stop this?
The Emperor then sent another death ball in a random direction, destroying another section of Majin Buu's body that had tried to repair itself. It was now having to work absolutely overtime.
Serious? I will destroy you!
Buu yelled in pain, and the entire body shook with anger.
What's the matter, Majin Buu? Is someone outside giving you a hard time? You having to take it out on little old me? Shut up, shut up!
Cooler took all of this protesting as a, yes, indeed, he was correct. But what was even more fascinating was the fact that his death ball had uncovered a similar cocoon to what the Emperor had found himself in. What was that, Cooler thought? He quickly charged in the cocoon's direction, trying to dodge attacks that Buu, who was fighting on many fronts, tried to aim inward. He failed, and Cooler was able to see who else had the unlucky misfortune to have been consumed. It was Majin Buu himself? But the old one, the old rotund pink blob child thing, had it eaten itself? That was really disturbing, even for Cooler. But on the other hand, there was some kind of twisted curiosity appearing in the Emperor's mind. This thing had been such a pain in the neck for him. Oh, let it suffer. Tell me, I wonder what will happen, his head tail started to reach for the cocoon, if I...
No!
Buu howled like a wounded animal.
Do not cut that one out! If you do that, I won't be me anymore! And then who knows what will happen?
He tried to attack Cooler, seemingly ignoring a lot of stuff that was going on the outside. Well, the Emperor dodged and looked at the creature that a while ago seemed almighty. I'ma cut it out.
Don't you do it!
I'ma do it.
Don't you do it!
As the cocoon fell down, being detached from the body, all apparitions of Majin Buu and gooey tentacles that tried to capture Cooler fell to the ground. He decided that this was his cue to exit. He grabbed the other cocoon and started to blow his way outside, using the fact that the creature had some sort of internal collapse going on around him. It seemed that its time was over. He could see daylight, and together, With the original Majin Buu, he flew toward the light, and a sudden beam of it appeared, and he was there, in front of the monster, now fully sized again, holding the second creature. Around him were, well, everyone. Son Gohan looking quite different, Son Goku now missing a halo, Vegeta and the two runts, as well as the Supreme Kai and his very tall attendant. Nice to see you two finally show up. Cooler turned to Buu, who seemed to be swelling and getting smaller at the same time. This was a weird way to off itself. Good to see you survive, Lord Cooler. Honestly, I was quite disappointed. Gohan smirked. The Supreme Kai, however, was gasping. Oh, this is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them. I found this one on the inside. It looked rather important, and this one really didn't want me to take it away, so of course, I took it away. I don't want to spoil your fun, but you might want to look at that. Piccolo pointed to Majin Buu, who had stopped shifting, and now was just small, but seemed stable. He's reverted to his original form. This is how he was. This is how I remember him. The Kai was genuinely shocked. Well, I am no expert, but since we've taken this one out, this one must be weaker. Hopefully at least 50% weaker, Cooler thought to himself. He looked to the Saiyans and the Namekians. Well, what are you waiting for? Let's not waste our time. And then they all charged upon this new, kidified version of Buu. It was fierce, but Cooler had a point. It wasn't quite as powerful as the previous incarnation. They were overpowering him with sheer numbers. In its fury, it tried to unleash an absolutely devastating attack to destroy the planet. And it was looking like it was going to work. Well, this is it. Him or us, Vegeta cursed. Let's give him our best shots, everyone! Son Goku, then transforming to his Super Saiyan 3 form and starting to charge a Kamehameha, with Vegeta joining in for a final flash, Gohan and Piccolo going for the Masenko, and the two younglings trying to mimic their fathers. In the end, Cooler decided to join in with his own death ball. The creature screeched as it was bathed in all of those projectiles. It tried to regenerate, but this time, the combined might of all of these attacks at once was far too much for it to take. Soon, this version of Buu was just a bad memory. Buu was no more. Goten looked at the spot where just a moment ago, there had been a monster that almost had destroyed them all. Not quite. Vegeta glared towards the other Buu, lying unconscious on the ground. They could then hear a meek cough. It was the young guardian of Earth. Dende, was it? To be fair, this one was quite innocent. I watched him befriend Hercule down on Earth.
That buffoon? Why would we care about what he thinks?
The prince was getting even more annoyed at this news. Wait, I'm not following. Who is this Hercule? Cooler tilted his head.
Remember the guy from the tournament? The one with the fluffy hair and...
What?
That idiot, said Cooler. I agree with Vegeta. What is the point of this news guardian?
Dende sighed loudly. My point is, he was able to convince Majin Buu not to attack anyone whilst waiting. The other one, the evil one, manifested only after someone shot a dog that they had taken under their wing. He got so mad, so angry, that all of that rage manifested from him into another form. Now that part is gone, the thing you just destroyed, so, well...
So you expect us all to get chummy with it? This thing is a serious threat to my empire!
Cooler pointed his finger squarely toward the creature, but Goku and Gohan slowly approached. Cooler, wait! At least let us wake him up and talk to him! The older of the Saiyans gave him a stern look. The Emperor knew that at least Vegeta was agreeing with him. Again, he really hated that idea, as did the Prince, with the Kais being pretty close to being convinced themselves. Nevertheless, once again, he heard those words from the being that had defeated him, and again, he had proven that impossible was not a thing. So, he decided to respect that in the only way he knew.
If he goes on a rampage, I am letting him consume Earth. You will not have my help.
Cooler crossed his arms. Dende, could you heal him up a little bit so we can talk to him? Goku looked at the smaller Namekian.
By the way, why didn't you tell us this news before?
Vegeta glared at Dende suspiciously.
Oh,
I wasn't very happy to have the two of you here, you know. He pointed at the prince himself and Cooler. There was a degree of distrust, and there was a hint of blushing on the Saiyan's face. But the Emperor did not respond. The Supreme Kai then started to wade in with his own protestations. This is Majin Buu. What if it lashes out at us and attacks us at our weakest? Mr. Shin, calm down. We've already destroyed one Majin Buu. If this one is malevolent, we will kill the other one. There was a different aura about that boy, and he no longer needed to go Super Saiyan to do any deeds. Or maybe this was something completely new. It was hard to say, but Cooler was impressed with Gohan's posture. As Dende approached the plump figure, he quickly sat up, like a confused child.
Is Hercule okay? Is Bee fine? Where is Boo?
Everyone was clearly surprised that this beast had asked for his new friend first, not wanting to play or destroy things. He was genuinely concerned for his friend.
Don't worry, they're fine. I think I can grab them. Hey Dende, can you pinpoint his location? I mean, his energy's so weak that I don't think I can find it myself.
Son Goku looked almost embarrassed by that request, and admission in lacking of his skills. The younger of the Namekians rolled his eyes and helped him find Hercule. Soon, in a blink of an eye, he was back with the bumbling fool and a little furry creature.
What? Where? Boo? What? Boo, buddy! You okay?
The man quickly approached the monster, and they embraced like good friends. And not only that, but the small entity started yapping happily, licking the pink blob's face. It was genuine affection on display.
What about the other one? It was scary.
He's dead. Now give us one good reason why we shouldn't do the same to you,
Vegeta said bluntly.
No! He saved my life, and Bee's life. He's not a bad guy. He's just misunderstood. But you're not gonna still be hurting anyone, right, Boo?
No hurt. Boo can eat rocks now. Hercule friend.
The baby man gave everyone a bright smile. This seemed again genuine.
See? I told you he weren't evil.
Son Goku grinned, very proud of himself and his deductions. I don't know, Goku. Piccolo looked around once again, doubting his ally.
Oh, come on. Most of you have gotten second chances in your lives, and look how you turned out. You turned out okay. We even got, like, the Emperor of the Universe here.
I think you're beginning to overstate the value of this alliance. I am here to neutralize the threat to my own throne. Cooler looked to Majin Buu.
What's an Emperor?
The pink creature tilted his head. The Emperor sighed.
All right, forget it. He is Earth's responsibility now.
I know where he lives, and I will not stop getting stronger. If he goes out of control, this rock can go down with it.
No!
Hercule looked at Boo with a pleading smile.
You'll be good, right, Boo? No going on rampage?
Boo will be good, but Boo hungry right now.
Son Goku's stomach rumbled as well, in comedic timing.
Hey, he knows what he's talking about. Where's Krillin, by the way? I don't see him.
He was evacuating everyone from the lookout while you were gone. Shame, he missed all the fun, Piccolo smirked. And as such, a celebration was indeed prepared. Cooler was invited, but he had no intentions on attending. He merely wanted to say his farewells to the Son family. Now in his fourth form, he saw a massive table with all those pesky earthlings sitting around it, laughing and consuming, imbibing many drinks. Come on, Lord Cooler, why don't you join us? Gohan extended an invitation again, now accompanied by some girls. Ah, so another generation of those pesky half Saiyans was going to happen. Well, okay, good to know. This is not my place, Son Gohan. I merely wanted to bid you farewell, and remember to stay on your toes. If you grow too comfortable, then, he raised a finger above his head, causing the people around the table to look around nervously. Had Cooler changed again? But until then, he shrugged, snuffing out his finger, have your celebration. But do not get too cushy and comfortable for your own good. He walked away slowly. He could see that Chi-Chi was particularly relieved that he chose not to stay. This made him chuckle slightly. under his breath. But before he could go toward his ship, something small approached him. It was that bee creature, the Doge, apparently. It was sniffing him curiously and tilting its head. What are you doing? I can destroy you with one swift moment, you know.
It's a dog, said Trunks. They're pets. You're meant to pet him. He wants you to pet him.
It was Trunks and Goten. They were running after the creature, but they weren't scared of it.
What are you two doing here? You should be with your kind. Don't you know how dangerous I am in isolation?
Well, I'm pretty sure that we're stronger if we fuse, so I'm not exactly bothered.
Trunks started. If you do it correctly, you are, but not for long, he said, tilting his head. So, why do you insist on bothering me? Goten scratched his head.
Mr. Cooler?
Lord Cooler.
Sorry, Lord Cooler, do you mind training us again sometime?
There was a very long moment of a pause. This was surprising. I could use recruits like you in my armored squadron, though I doubt that your families would be willing to comply with my idea, but maybe one day, who knows? If you are still around and alive, and willing and strong, I may tell my men not to shoot you down on sight. But first, I need to overpower that Gotenks trick of yours. And believe me, I have plenty of ideas on how to do it. The boy seemed excited by the prospect.
You know, from what we heard, you're way cooler than your brother.
Trunks smiled. That was an unexpected compliment. Do not try to sway me. Go to your families now before I do something to the crust of your planet. The boys ran towards the table, laughing, completely undeterred. But still the dog remained, wagging his tail and looking at him curiously. Cooler looked around. The sun was beginning to set. He knew this sight from many planets, but this time it felt almost nostalgic. He kneeled down on one knee to look this dog creature in the eyes, and when he was sure that nobody was watching him, he gave it a quick pat on the head. The being yapped happily and panted a few times, it giving some sort of smile. Cooler then warned him by raising a single finger. It paid attention to it. You will tell no one of this. Then he walked away toward his ship, leaving the dog just there, just watching him leave. And the Earthlings were laughing in the distance, unaware of the affection that had gone down. The journey home was silent, surprisingly so. He hadn't received any reports or messages from any of his advisors. This was unusual, slightly worrying. Cooler attempted to communicate with them, but every time he tried to, it felt as if there were no connection being established. Had somebody attacked them? But who could have been so foolish as to try and mess with his vision of a new empire? As he was getting closer, he tried different frequencies and channels, but there was still no response. Not even the emergency broadcast channel. Finally, after another 3 weeks of journeying, he received one singular image on his emergency line that had been dormant since. It was a chrome-like orb, resembling an artificial moon or a planet of some sort. It was hard to tell through the distortion. What? What is this supposed to be? Wait, is that? There were just 3 words in the report under the picture. Big Getty Star. And that's where we end Act 5.